The rules are that after she says it, then you pick it up. The rules are that after she says it, then you pick it up, not in the middle. Okay.
Cool. So I'm going to have to ask you 2 questions, and you pick your apple juice. Apple juice, people. It's not
Disclaimer.
Disclaimer. It's apple juice.
It's Hennessy.
It's Joshua, please. Now we have to cut all that.
No, it's fine. It's part of
You pick your apple juice up after I've asked the questions. First question. Yes. This is good. You should know your mother tongue, not just English. You know, the French speak French, the German speak German. You guys are from African backgrounds, Yoruba, for instance. So, how do you say? So I'm going to say the sentence in English, and you have to tell me in the proper African Nigerian.
No, that's fine.
Yeah.
I would like to go to the market tomorrow. Yes.
Mo fẹ́ lọ sí market. Mo fẹ́ lọ sí ọjà Lola.
Yes, Second question. Heads up, Josh. Second question. Should I do another language?
No.
No. Okay, get ready now. What is my favorite drink?
Water. Hello.
I nearly choked on that. That's what I meant.
Hello.
Okay.
Hola. Welcome to Parenting with Joshua.
Now we're going to talk about all things teens. No holding back on anything, you know. So Josh, let's start from you.
Yeah.
Oh, do you know what? I haven't actually introduced you. Can you introduce yourselves? Joshua?
My name is Joshua. I'm 19 years old.
Okay.
My name is Sharon. I'm 70 years old.
Welcome to Parenting with Shumi Botobian. Thank you for doing this, because I know it's not very easy.
Thank you for having us.
Now, let's look into being teenagers. It can't be easy being a teenager nowadays, you know. And some people say it's the same. Some people say because you guys have a lot coming your way, especially with social media, and for the rate of information and exposure is just out there. So what do you think? Do you think teenagers should be given a break? Do you think teenagers are, you know, there's a lot of, what's the word I'm looking for?
Stigma,
but a lot of pressure.
Oh, in being a teenager?
Yeah, from the society.
In what sense? As in like, what they expect, fulfillment?
Expectation.
Like what, for example?
Like,
By 16, you must have you must have sat GCSE.
Or by 18, you should be in university.
Or even like values and skills and morality, or you understand? Because we're talking about if you were not informed in your household regarding maybe sometimes parents don't know. We feel parents know everything, but sometimes you only know so much, you understand, and you've been raised in a particular way. And the teenager, obviously, that's all they know. They're coming from a background that is the way they were raised or formed. And the society now sees a child and say, or don't you know this? You should know this at this age. You're 16, you're 17, you're 18, you're 19. You understand? It's like everyone, as you said, you guys said in the beginning, we're individuals. We have our own journey, and sometimes you hear them say, "Oh, these teenagers." You have those statements. These teenagers, it's teenagers as well. Teenagers. So how do you feel being a teenager in now and then in this time we're living in? It's you've never been a teenager anyway. This is your audio. What do you think? What would you like to say to the world? What do you like to say? They're older people, say they're older people. Tell them what you would like to. What teenagers are thinking, or what they just what you would like to say to other people, really.
What I would like to say. So
start. They're older people.
They're older people. They're older people. I would like to say that certain expectations that you guys may have for teenagers, they're older people. The expectations you may have for teenagers is natural. Every parent has a certain expectation for their child who may be a teenager, but I would say that you should study your child and see what they can take on, because if you have a lot of expectation after expectation for your child, you could catalyze your child's breakdown, and you could catalyze their mental breakdown, or if they result to physical harming or something like that, and you don't want your teenager to be in that position where they fall into depression or something like that. So I believe that you should have expectations for your child, but just know their breaking points and what they can carry as a teenager.
Well said, Josh. They're older people.
They're older people. What I would want them to know.
Yeah. So you always say listen, don't judge.
Yeah, that's one thing. Listen, don't judge. But most importantly, even as into the listen, don't judge, is understanding the world has changed from when you guys were teenagers. We live in a world. We live in a world now where, don't get me wrong, there's nothing wrong with being lawyer, doctors, or anything, but we live in a world that's becoming more and more technology based and more creative based. So we're living in a transition, and you have to remember this generation that we're in. We are basically the first generation of technology, the first generation of social media. So of course there are going to be lots of young people coming up this generation that want to do jobs in those fields, because as we were the ones that have learned to adapt to it and develop it. So because I meet a lot of young people and they're like, my goal is to work in the music industry and be an artist liaison, or, be a PA to a music executive, or do anything in the creative entertainment field. Or like, so I asked them, okay, so you said you're going to uni, so what are you doing at uni? Oh, I'm studying physics and economics. I'm like, but I thought you said you want to do music or whatever. But yeah, but it's just that my parents just want me to do something that's going to look good for my CV, or going to open doors for me. So I think I hear that a lot. And it's amazing that you want your child to do well. But I think it's understanding maybe what you want is not what they want. And it's just understanding the world in the sense of times are different, times are changing. There's nothing wrong with having a child that works in the music industry, or being a creative, or maybe doing a job that may not has to apply to them wearing a suit in the morning, or going to the city. At the end of the day, I've seen people go into the music industry or any other industry, and they do amazing for themselves, and they come out great, and they make a name for themselves, and they help change other people's lives. So it's understanding, creatives are growing, and it's going to grow for a long time, and just support your child in what they want to do. Yeah. I
think to add on to his point, do not compare your child to other people in terms of For example, don't say, "Oh, Joshua, I saw that your friend or my friend's son is now a lawyer," when Joshua clearly has his own aims for what he wants to be in his life. Like, I feel that can sometimes be insulting to the potential of your child, because you are, in a sense, limiting their potential to what someone else's potential is, when they can perhaps exceed more than the other person. So don't compare. I know that you compare out of good intention, out of them to be better, but comparisons will not get your child nowhere. So comment down below what you guys think about the idea of comparison between children and whether it's effective or not.
Also, another one is comparison between siblings, which I think is very toxic and causes sibling rivalries. Like I said, like Sharon said, sorry, you know, it's coming out of a good heart, but sometimes mentally it's not gonna seem like that. The way it can affect someone. And then I think it's important to remember that everybody has their own track that they're running, and everyone's going a different way. You know, it may not be the same, but everybody will get there in their own way at the right time. You know, when Usain Bolt's running, he's not looking to the left or to the right. He's just focusing on what he's doing, and that's why he wins, because he's focused on himself.
Joshua.
And he gets the gold medal, and that's why he's a great athlete, one of the greats, because he focuses on himself and he knows what he wants to achieve, and he goes for it. He doesn't look to the left or the right. He knows he can beat anybody else. So it's the same with the teenagers, or if you're a parent for a child, they're focusing on themselves, they have their own track, they'll get there. It doesn't matter if they make it at 25, 26, but eventually they'll make it, you know. You don't have to always make it at 18, 19, 20, or 21, like how it may have seemed back then, but eventually they make it.
Thank you. Well done, guys. I'm enjoying this. Now, let's talk about, let me see. You know what? One thing, when you guys were talking about being creative and you know what's in it, being a teenager, I admire both of you and a lot of your friends and other teenagers, because when I was 17, 18, 19, I was bold, I was fun and everything, but you guys, your generation, I think you're just go-getters. I admire that about your generation, because in a good way, Joshua will stalk everybody. It's like, I want to meet that person in Universal, and he keeps sending emails and finds everybody that connects, and the next thing you say, I have a meeting here, I have a meeting there, and I'm like, names you mention, you know, and Sharon too, you have your, what's that thing you're doing?
The sports thing.
Oh, Batty Sports.
Yeah.
Sky.
The Sky. You've been on Sky.
Guardian.
Daily
Mail.
You know, I'm like Sky, Guardian, Daily Mail, Netflix, Universal, talking to Lord Comer, you know. I'm like, how at this age have you made, this is networking, because like I was watching Joshua, I was having a video call with somebody, you know, we can't mention names, but from a very someone prestigious from, you know, a good one of the big companies. I'm like, how at 19 that you confidently have discussions and you're networking and the people are impressed by you, and so by the time you need them or you want to do something, they're there. The doors are well, so it doesn't matter. What I'm trying to say is that your generation now, in our generation, it was about who's your daddy, who are you, your son name, your class, you know. But now, in your generation, you go and you get what you want, as long as you have a plan. As you said, you know where you're going. What do you think has caused that? Do you think part of it is the way you were parented? Do you think part of it is how society is nowadays and with social media? What do you think?
Anti-Sky Sports.
Personally, I feel like for me personally, it ties into my faith, and I believe that I'm on this earth for a purpose, and I believe that my purpose is to like reach out to different people and do my own stuff. So if you have a purpose, I feel like you won't sit around and just not do anything because you know what you want cannot come to you by you just sitting around. So as you said, we'll be go-getters and we'll make the necessary connections that we need to make in order to get where we want to go and where we want to end up. And for me, that's like a big motivation of what I do now, because I kind of, when you're a teenager, not every teenager knows their purpose and where they want to end up. But I feel like if you have an idea, you're gonna try everything to develop that idea so that your goals will be reached. And just adding to what I've said, I feel like time is not waiting for you. Time isn't waiting for you. Yes, time is not waiting for you. I realize that time's not waiting for me. I'm not waiting for time either. We're going to work together. That I used to say I don't have time, but I realized that there is time. It's just the way you use it. And you need to be very smart and tactical about the way you use time, because time is of the essence and time is money.
Yes.
That's it, really.
Yeah. What Sharon says, I think faith is a big part. Always believe in, God says, ask and it shall be given, but he also tells us to work hard for it, that nothing comes free.
Exactly.
Having that faith and also trusting in the God, the Lord, that, he'll be there for me, that what I can vision of achieving, I know he has 10,000 more achievements waiting for me, So, faith's a big thing. Then also like time, using your 24 hours in a day, what you can achieve in a day. I think for me, when I became with the whole networking thing, it started from last year, January. So I was in college and I had a teacher, and I don't know what, I always say to people, like, I feel like she was sent from heaven, because she changed the mindset of the whole class. And it's like, she made everybody believe like we can achieve something. And it's like, okay, this educational system we're in, we can go far beyond and better than what they predict we can be. And I just started writing emails out to people. She spoke about networking, why we should network, the importance of networking. And for me, that was the first time I've ever, it's not having even emails before, but emails to that extent, to that level. And for me, and I didn't take no lessons into how to write an email to a CEO or anything. I just wrote what came to my head and how I wanted for it to be seen, and if I was in person, what I would say. And she was just like, you're really good at writing emails. So from there, it started with me writing emails. It started with me then getting responses back, and then meeting up for coffee or whatever, then inviting me to the office. Then it started with me while I'm working for my apprenticeship. Also, another thing as well, so if my apprenticeship that I'm doing, the company I'm working with, they're well connected in the industry, the creative industry. So it's also taking opportunities that come your way. No matter how big or small. I think with this generation, one of the issues that we have is we believe we can only take opportunities of something that's big. If the name is not a big name, they don't want it. But take anything. Sometimes working for little name brands, companies, can then lead you to that big name where you want to go to. So they've got to start small to then go big. If life was about starting big, we wouldn't learn what it is to strive for greatness. But yeah, so it's like when because I do events management, so when we have an event on and we have all these people from different creative backgrounds, I'm talking to them, networking, taking emails, exchanging social media, handles, messaging them, all of that type of thing, sending an email. And yeah, that was it for me. Just networking. And also another thing is that for this generation, one thing I've noticed as well is for you to even get opportunities is mainly based on who you know. So it's kind of like how you were saying back in your days, like who's your daddy? For us is who do you know? Yeah. And that's not just for in the creative field, that's in general. And I've seen it. It's like, who do you know? And you come across the people like, yeah, my cousin works there, so that's why I was able to get a work experience for 1 month at this company. So it's just about, you basically bridging that gap
Mm.
and just changing the narrative that it shouldn't be about who you know. It's more
Yeah.
about, hey, this is who I am.
Mm.
This is what I do, and I
Yeah.
would love an opportunity. You know, and
Definitely.
yeah,
I think in terms of networking as well, you should think of yourself as a product, as a method of advertising. Like, does your passion show through in what you'd like to do? Like, personally, for me, my passion has shown through in what I'd like to do in the future and what I'm doing currently now, to the point that these opportunities, these big opportunities that you seek, will just come to you. Like, literally, if you create a big community of people who know you and who like have common aims with you, they will just be like, oh, I need the person for this, this, that. Oh, I know a person. Let's get in contact.
Yeah.
Like, for me, that's how it runs right now. Like, sometimes I can get 10 emails in one day saying, would you like to do this and this and this? So it's about what you do and kind of like the returns in terms of like your passion and how you advertise yourself.
Okay.
and another thing I was going to add on as well is don't give up, in the sense of, I have a little funny story. So last year, 2019 May, for the first time ever, I went to. So I'm really into the music industry, as you could tell from me talking about music a lot. I went to Universal Records, and Universal's the biggest record label in the world. And in all honesty, I didn't even plan on getting the opportunity to go. I just wanted to speak to someone through email and just ask for some advice on something. And it went on to one of the music execs just saying, hey, why don't you come down when you're free and let's have a face-to-face conversation. And I was like, wow, you know what, maybe there's actually something, maybe they could be offering me something. And I went there. There wasn't what I was looking for. They didn't have it, and they just told me maybe now's not the right time. But sometimes we're gonna go through. Well, we will go through rejection and no's, but there'll be more yeses and 100% come on board. And is when you go through that rejections and no's, is don't give up. Don't be like, you know what, I worked so much this hard, blah blah blah. They said no to me. I'm not doing it again. Continue striving and striving. And like with me, a year later on, I'm still in contact with Universal. They still contact me, but now it's like I've got now the rivals, Sony, also now wanting to talk to me, telling me to come down for meetings. So it's like if when one door closes, another one opens. So it's just don't give up and just keep on striving. At the end of the day, you will get there.
Thank you. You know, when you were, if you can remember, I'm sure it was a long time ago when you were 11, 12, 13, you know, your early teens. And those are quite sensitive times because hormones are all over the place. You feel nobody understands you. So what would you tell younger teens or your 11 or 12 or 13-year-old self, you know, what advice, especially to do with parenting, because there may be some parents out there now watching this and they have younger children, and they're thinking, how do I manage this child? How do I get through to this child? How, you know, I'm trying everything, but you've just been through that journey recently, you know, and there's some things are general and some things are specific to different individuals. So what would you tell your 11, 12 or 13-year-old self, or an advice to a parent out there?
What advice would I give myself or to a parent?
Do advice you give yourself if you were to go back through that journey,
Oh, okay.
and advice you would give a parent going through that with a
So
child.
advice I would give myself if I was 11, 12, 13 is you can't please everyone in the world, and not everyone's going to be your friend and not everyone's going to be there forever. There's only you and a handful of people that are meant to be in your life at the end of the day. And I think at that age is like you want to be friends with everyone, you want to do everything so that everybody remembers you, notices you, acceptance. And even still something that happens when you're 17, 18, 19, 20, you know. But it's just also understanding, it's always good to understand, you know, you can't please everyone at the end of the day. But what advice I'll give to parents is always try your best to understand the child. If the child's in a position of being wrong, not every parent does it, but sometimes, majority of the time, parents first reaction is to shout, because they shout to show the upset. But there's so many ways you can show your child that you're upset with the wrongdoings instead of shouting. Because once a parent shouts, it switches on a child, and the child shouts to raise up the voice. And I think it's good to let the child speak first and explain themselves, and then once they've explained the full story, instead of shouting, be calm. But if they still don't understand what they've done wrong, break it down to them in different brackets and be like, okay, I hear you, but this is the reason why your teacher has called me and said you done this because dun ABC. Because I think, and for me, like, if someone's shouting at me, and if I've done something wrong, someone shouting at me, I'm not going to understand you. Even if you're speaking sense while you're shouting, I'm not going to understand it. It's the fact that you're shouting is what put me off from paying attention. But if you speak calmly to me and you're like, you did this is why your teacher's complaining. What you could have done instead is you could have gone to her and approached her in this manner and said, Miss, so. And for me personally, that works best because then I don't see both sides of the story, and I'm like, oh, you know what? Maybe I was actually wrong in this part. And first thing tomorrow morning, when I see my teacher at registration, I will apologize. So I think also just keep it calm, basically.
I'll
Your 13, 12, 11, 13, 12-year-old self, what would you advise for parents going through the early teens through? Yeah.
So I would advise for teenagers that are like 12, 13, going up, that you should continue to work hard and just work at your own pace while working hard, and everything shall surely like pave out and be all right. For parents, I would say that continue to support your child, continue to be their backbone, as well as getting to study your child, because you still have an opportunity to know everything about them, and you may not necessarily know everything about them. So continue to study your child.
Thank you. Do you have anything else you'd like to share?
No, but
Yes.
guys, like, comment,
Subscribe
and subscribe.
and share.
And share. Look, I'm looking at you. Go and subscribe now. What are you waiting for? This is needed.
She works
Just
for
do
Sky
it.
Sports.
Just do it.
Sky Sports.
Let's not bait up myself. Just do it, guys.
He's also a
And-
journalist for the Daily Mail.
Oh, calm down. Calm down. But yeah, guys, if you have any worries about your child, don't worry. You can just do your best and just hope it all works out for you in terms of strength. Keep on going. You can be the best that you can be. And also you as a parent, don't compare yourself to other parents, because it won't get you anywhere.
Yes.
But yeah,
And enjoy every moment with your child.
exactly.
Enjoy every moment.
Like, enjoy, because soon they'll be saying, Mommy, I don't want to give you a kiss or a hug. I'm going to uni. Okay? So just enjoy it while they're young.
Yeah, enjoy every moment.
Thank you so much, Joshua and Sharon. I've really had fun with you. Thank you for
having
doing
us.
this.
So the rules are that after she says it, then you pick it up.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye!